So yesterday's race had quite a lot of action. Here's the grid then, set by the result of race 1. So it was Jack Brewer who takes pole position for race number 2 of the weekend for the MX5 Championship. Brian Trott will start alongside him on the front row. Then it will be Steve Foden and Zach Oates on the second row of the grid, ahead of Oliver Graham and Sebastian Fisher, with Jason Greatrex and Fraser Fennick lining up on row 4. The top 10 is completed by Matt Pollard and Oliver Allwood, who then start ahead of Callum Greatrex and Adam Craig on row 6. And then on top of that, it is row 7 for Owen Mills and Paul Bateman, ahead of Luke Pullen and Oak Richardson. We then move through to row 9, which sees Tim Dorr and Cian Donaldson, followed by Thomas Mallet and Christopher Ginn. And then we have Courtney Milnes, who's here as an invitation returnee, so good to have her back on the grid, ahead of Jordan Pimley in 22nd. Ben O'Hare comes next, his first appearance of the year, followed by Kevin Dengate in 24th. It's then Richard Wootton and Nick Ledoyen on row 13 of the grid. Bo Parry and Bryn Griffiths come next on row 14. It's Richard Bartlett, Graham Rumsey, and then Aston Wigley, who's sadly not on the grid tonight, for today's action, so he'll be just Brad Jones on his own back on row 16. So it should be a 31 car grid rather than 32, because sadly we do not have Aston Wigley on the grid. So as they head off for the green flag lap, which I think there was a slight bit of a miscommunication yesterday, they've managed to be told that this is definitely their green flag lap away from the mix. So away they go to warm up the tyres. So Jack Brewer will have been delighted to get back to form yesterday. He had a pretty stellar opening weekend at Croft, 3 victories. He had pressure from the likes of Michael Nibbs, who is sadly not here for the next few meetings because of, we believe, an injury of some kind which he sustained during the Silverstone weekend. He seems to be recovering nicely, and we give him his best wishes, and hopefully he's back on track with us very soon. But after that Croft weekend, where he was on the highest of highs with three race wins, he came down to earth with a bit of a bump at Silverstone. He got tapped by Brian Trott. All accidental, was not on purpose of the tour. I know Brian was very remorseful and very apologetic after that. He was definitely not happy with the fact that that happened between them in terms of that happening. He was very sort of apologetic to Jack after that accident. And then he made contact, I think it was with Matt Pollard and Aston Wigley at the start of the second race, which put him down the order. And then further troubles in the third race meant he really had a weekend to forget at Silverstone, but he certainly started off once again back where he wants to be, which is at the front. He was on the front row of the grid yesterday because Brian Trott took pole position for the first race in qualifying yesterday. Started on the front row, got the whole shot and got the lead quickly enough, and was able to then hold on until the end. So watch for Jack to try and go for his fifth win from 7 races where possible. Brian Trott is also waiting for his first win of the season. He said back at Silverstone that his car's in the groove now. He didn't feel it was really there all that much at Croft, but he's now managed to get himself into a really good position. And it also appears this year that compared to previous seasons where he's kind of popped in and out and done the odd round, he's committing to a full season this year because he knows he's got a good car underneath him. He feels good, the team feels good, so he's going to try and take full advantage of that and go for a full campaign. Steve Foden, third on the grid, as we said, took his first two victories at Silverstone. He was absolutely buzzing after that, and so relieved, both he and his dad Ian, who've been working so hard to over the last couple of years to make that happen. That genuinely have been a long time coming ever since he'd come close on several occasions before, but just on this occasion it all started to come good. And on that basis, it really was a magnificent day for the Foden team, and of course Mike Conley Racing as well to get back to winning ways. And then looking fourth on the grid, I think we really do have to watch for Zach Oates. Came fourth on the grid, car 145, just at the bottom of the shot there. He has looked threatening and put in some quite decent drives up and down the order when he's had to start recovering from incidents or having an incident in one race and driving back through the order. He's managed to pick up a couple of very strong top 10s. Now he's shown his pace to be up there on potential podium winning pace. I expect him to be up there in contention once again. He will have gone overnight with Ali Bray and the team at AB Motorsport to go through the data, through the video footage to think, right, where can we find more time, where can we improve, where can we get stronger. Also watch for the two auto test teammates, Sebastian Fisher and Oliver Graham. Fraser Fennick, who won a race at Silverstone and came into the weekend leading the championship, is back in 8th with some work to do. And also Oliver Allwood and Matt Pollard, of course, have got some progress to make from the 5th row of the grid if they can find a bit more pace to push them a bit further up. So the last couple of cars getting into position towards the back. You can see Bryn Griffiths on the right hand side taking up his grid position, and at the back It seems that though Brad Jones has lined up. So, stand by for more MX5 action. The first of the day here at Anglesey, the second MX5 Championship race of the weekend. Red lights on. It's Jack Brewer and Brian Trott on the front row of the grid. Let's see who can get the better start and win the whole shot down towards turn one. The entire 31 car field streams its way into turn one for the first time, and it's Brian Trott who will turn across ahead of Jack Brewer. Heading through the first couple of the corner, we can see Paul Bateman already going into combat with Aaron Mills, and also then Luke Pullen behind on the 27 car, who's a little bit of the exit curve to full effect. Up through the banking, they're all going sort of 2 and 3 abreast on the exit of the corner, but it's going to be Brian Trott that leads, Brewer in second place, it's Steve Foden in third position, Richard Wood running a little bit wide there towards the bottom of the pack, but they're all starting to get away cleanly, and now up through Church, onto the back straight for the first time. So Trott, Brewer, Foden, then it's Oliver Graham, he's gone up to 4th past Zach Oates. It's now under threat for 6th is Sebastian Fisher from Jason Greatrex. Callum's in there too, just tucked in behind Oliver Allwood. There's Ben O'Hare in the 95 car for Going For It Racing behind Christopher Ginn, as they pile into the Rocket Complex, almost 2 and 3 abreast. Yeah, always. Look at the two. Callum, it's good, great tracks. It's Callum and Jason going 3 wide with Sebastian Fisher on the inside, and it's 3 wide further back. It looks like it's Graham Rumsey, Bo Parry in the 69 of Brad Jones who started at the back of the field. A little bit of jostling, a little bit of bumping and boring, but everyone's got through relatively cleanly. There's the 777 of Courtney Milnes. Good to have her back on the BRSCC grid this weekend as an invitation entry. Oh, what a big dive up the inside into the seamless corner. That was from Zach Oates. He's determined to get his 4th place back and then to start making progress back to get back into amongst the top 3 again. He was as high as 3rd yesterday. Wants to try and make it up, and here comes Sebastian Fisher to go almost 3 abreast with his teammate. Oliver Graham was the pair of them put an assault on a fast-starting Oliver Allwood. He started back in 9th on 10th on the grid, and is already up to 5th position, so a rocket start from Oliver. He's got himself up a few more places in the top 10, 5 places from where he started. Here comes Zach Oates looking for the inside line to the bus stop, and he might not be able to defend that much. He might even get a move on his teammate, Brian Trott, if he goes up the inside a bit more. There's a squeal of tyres in front. But everyone appearing to pile their way through. I think there was a bit of a skirmish, I think, because now somehow Zach Oates has got through to 2nd place. I think there was a bit of contact between the AB Motorsport teammate. Steve Foden's also been dropped backwards. I think that must have been what the squeal of tyres was, a bit of a collision between, I'm guessing, something involving Foden, Trott and Zach Oates. They're now going side by side further back in the pack, and Fraser Fenix also putting his elbows out, trying to get past Jason Greatrex. I'm out of breath already. It's been a lap and a bit. This is fantastic stuff to start this race. So look at them, all huddled together as they come back through Church Corner. There's Paul Bateman in number 4, one of the leading Masters cars. And look, Jack Brewer's just checked out. He's got a massive lead, just smiling to himself, thinking, see you later, boys. I'm off for a Sunday morning drive. So 2nd place for Oliver Allwood now. Zach Oates is into 3rd place now. I suspect off camera there was a little bit of a collision. 4th for Sebastian Fisher now. His teammate Oliver Graham is 5th. Brian Trott's been shuffled from what was the lead originally down to 6th. Now 7th place for Steve Foden, 8th and 9th for the Greatrexes, Jason ahead of Callum. Fraser Fenix now dropped to 10th position. He started in 8th on the grid, down 2 places to 10th. But got to do something about Jack Brewer though, because he really is spread eagle in the field already. 1.6 seconds to the good when they came across the line. But that was across the line because everything was happening on the exit of the corner. Yellow flags in the background. Something's happened up at the complex at Rocket. So either a car's had a spin or been turned around, and there's been an incident which we haven't spotted yet on the cameras. Down the Tom Price straight for the 2nd time. Zach Oates in close attention in the white and purple car. I think the car's had the spin is Courtney Milnes, so she's getting back going again, and a bit of an up and down weekend back in the BRSCC Mazda paddock. It's great to have her back, but not having the best of fortunes by the looks of it. Now Zach Oates, I think, has had a poor exit from the hairpin because he's lost out to both of the auto test teammates. Both Sebastian Fisher and Oliver Graham have got through, so he's now down from 3rd to 5th. And the 2 teammates running in tandem at the moment in quite smart formation. Sebastian Fisher was in good form at Silverstone, picked up 2 podiums on his first weekend back as Adam Craig in the background goes rally crossing at the exit of the final corner. I didn't realise Mazda MX-5s became good rally cross cars. Anyway, back to the banking for the 3rd time. And I think the question for everyone now is, how do you solve a problem like Jack Brewer? Because Jack has really got the advantage now, 2.2 seconds. And these guys ultimately have to stop fighting and try and work together to close him back in, because the harder they fight each other, the easier it is for Jack Brewer to continue to make a break, as both Steve Foden and Jason Greatrex, I'll get my words out, Jason Greatrex run wide on the exit of the right-hander at Church. Now it's side by side for 2nd. Sebastian Fisher wants to go for P2 or Allwood. He has to go defensive on the inside line. Look at this. 2 AB Motorsport cars versus 2 auto test cars, and they're both going side by side with each other. Now getting back into the pack appears to be Brian Trott in 6th position. Foden's in there too, as are both the Greatrexes and also Matt Pollard. And 11th place also, I believe, should be Paul Bateman as well. That's an impressive one from Paul, actually. One of the leading Masters drivers. So that's the contest for drivers 45 and over. Up the inside for 4th position goes Zach Oates, who repasses Oliver Graham. And Graham might come under threat from another AB Motorsport car in the form of Brian Trott. But so far, it's all about Jack Brewer, isn't it? He is just sailing away at the front of the field. And this is the key thing, whilst everyone else is battling amongst themselves around them. That's the key thing. Lock up there from Tim Dorr into the hairpin. Little wiggly on the exit. Yeah, loses out to Adam Craig and also Ben O'Hare, almost went straight to the path of Luke Pullen, but he managed to pull the car back into a straight line by the corner exit, so all is well so far. 20-minute race, so plenty of action still to go here at Anglesey. Through the left-hander. Through turn 1, a little wide there for Oliver Graham. He's now going to come under threat from Brian Trott. He thought about a move into the hairpin, but he wasn't too close to make a braking move into the banking. So 6 minutes gone already in this 20-minute encounter. Still one more to go later on this afternoon. As they come back through Church Corner again. Lead is now 3.2 seconds for Jack Brewer. He really is extending this full advantage. Where is he? There he is. Bottom of the shot. Without a care in the world this morning. And here comes Zach Oates going for 3rd place on Sebastian Fisher. And Fisher might get boxed in by AB Motorsport cars here. He's got to his outside Zach Oates, to the inside Oliver Allwood. It's a bit of great inadvertent teamwork if it works. Round the outs goes Zach Oates. He has the inside line for the second part, and he's got it. I'm not sure that was actually tactical, but it was a great piece of driving from the 2 AB Motorsport cars. Oliver Allwood acted as kind of the block in front of Sebastian Fisher, which he's entitled to do, holding his racing line. And then round the outside wins Zach Oates. Brilliant team play from AB Motorsport. Well played. And now Sebastian Fisher is under threat from both his teammate Oliver Graham and another AB Motorsport car in Brian Trott. Also, see Jason Greytrax has got past Steve Foden. Foden was... came across the line in 8th position, so he lost out 7th on that last lap, but he might get it back shortly. And now Zach Oates thinking, right, thanks for the help, I'll take 2nd place from Oliver Allwood then. And 3 goes into P2, so that's pretty astonishing from Zach Oates. Now then, he's got time to do this. The question is, what kind of pace does he have in clear air, and will he be able to bring the cars behind him to get closer to Jack Brewer if he's got the pace to be quicker? This is the key thing now, because Zach Oates has got to use the clear air as much as he can, and maybe in some cases have Oliver Allwood work together with him so they can start to try and pull away. But if the 2 auto test cars behind is Sebastian Fisher and Oliver Graham have anything to say about it, it might not be that simple. So lap time wise, let's check out how they're doing then. So Zach Oates did a personal best last time, which was a fraction faster than Jack Brewer, who has the fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:48.791. So these 2 are circulating nicely. And so this is the key thing. Jack Brewer has clear air, but so does Zach Oates now. And already on the exit of the banking, he's pulled about a car length or so on his teammate. So let's just watch the lap times last time by. It's round the outside of Church Corner. That's a daring pass for Steve Foden. You can tell he's got his tail up now. He's got his first 2 wins of the season at Silverstone. And look at Matt Pollard also, former Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. He's getting his elbows out as well. So is Callum Greytrax, and so is Paul Bateman. Everyone arrives trying to be in front at the complex at Rockets. Round the outside going wide is Matt Pollard. Jason Greytrax kind of forcing there a little bit. Not so maliciously, just kind of taking his racing line in, with Pollard choosing to go round the outside. And whilst one Greytrax gets through, so does the other as round the outside goes Callum. Like father, like son, I suppose. I think there was also a battle going on just for 2nd place. Yes, it is, between side by side between 2nd and 3rd. That was 2nd and 3rd going side by side into Siemens. That was Oliver Allwood trying to get the position back from Zach Oates. So either these 2 are resorted to fighting with each other, or Oliver feels he really is much quicker than Zach. But they've really got to be careful, because again, they're battling too much with each other, and they're losing time to Jack Brewer in front and stacking up the pack behind them, because it's just bringing Sebastian Fisher and Oliver Graham and Brian Trott and Steve Foden and the Greytraxes and Bateman and Brewer and Oliver Mills all into play here. So they really have to stop squabbling with each other and try and start to work together. But it seems as though they can't seem to agree in which order the AB Motorsport cars should go. Oliver wants to lead, then Zach does, and then it's just completely going back and forth, constantly corner by corner. And all it's doing is benefiting Jack Brewer in front, who's almost 5 seconds to the good out in the lead, and pretty much driving as if he's got a care in the world. Back down towards the banking. Allwood feels like he has to go defensive, so Oates tries to go around the outside if there's any grip, but he might well leave the door open if he's not careful to Sebastian Fisher back in 4th position. The silver and purple car and the blue and orange car with a similar stripy pattern. It's his teammate came into the weekend third in points, Oliver Graham, despite his best finish of the year being fifth. So impressive stuff from Oliver. I think he's even moved a bit further up the point. He was third in points after he had the best finish of fifth. And looking back to yesterday's result, he picked up a fifth position again, so he's a sixth position again yesterday. So, but still maintaining third. It's all about consistency in the championship like this, where yes, you might have some days where some drivers falter and there might be some drivers that are quicker, but if they're not consistently scoring top points, it just allows other drivers in who are able to bank third, fourth, fifth places consistently, because it means then yes, drivers might be winning, but if they're also scoring poor results or retiring, that can make all the difference for those who are consistently plugging in and getting the solid point scores per race. So it's always crucial to go for the best result that you can and get as much points as possible, and ultimately try and keep your nose clean, because you never know what's going to happen, particularly in MX5 racing, and particularly in this championship. There is always something unpredictable that might happen throughout the field. Now Sebastian Fischer fancies a look up the inside, possibly the outside line into the bus stop on Zacco. It's a good exit. You might get a bit of a bump draft here from his teammate Oliver Graham, and Oliver Allwood has now decided to leave him in the tow. So ultimately Zacco is left in no man's land. He has no tow from the cars around him. Will have to hold on to the track position, goes diving back up the inside of the two auto test cars and holds on to fourth place for the time being. But again, it's allowed Oliver Allwood to get a bit of respite with about a car's gap to the cars behind. But again, the lead gap has gone out once more to 5.6 seconds. So Jack Brewer just absolutely enjoying this morning's racing and really going back to the kind of speed that he had at Croft, even better in fact, because he had the likes of Michael Nibbs in close attention on more than one occasion. But Jack is just enjoying, I wouldn't call it casual, but he's enjoying a slightly easier task than he was probably anticipating in this second race, and allowing everyone else to scrap amongst each other. Here go the two AV Motorsport cars again. Oliver Allwood in second place, but here comes Zach Oates for third. Trying to get second place from his experienced teammate. Getting a look round the outside. This is the karting driver really trying to go around the outside, and now he's got to be careful, because on his outside, round the second part of Rocket, it's going to come Sebastian Fischer, or it would have been had Oliver Graham not stuck his nose up the inside of his teammate and decided to steal the place from him. They're going to be side by side into Peel Corner, and Fischer has to give him the room, but if he's not careful, he might also be under threat from Brian Trott, who's also in the mix and wants to try and pick up a couple more spots. He will want to be a little bit higher up than he is at the moment. Of course, he finished second place yesterday, as Graham now continues to hound his teammate down towards the hairpin, down the Tom Price straight. And again, Zach Oates decides to go for the outside line, maybe the undercut here. He's a little twitch of oversteer. He's trying to get the power on. We've still got quite a bit of time left in this race. We've got, I think even so, still even halfway to go in some cases. Oh, there's contact up at the exit of, I think that's on the run towards Peel, I think. No, that's at the banking. That is 97, which is involved, which is Keane Donaldson. The other car, I can't quite tell the name, but what it has forced is the safety car to be deployed with 7 minutes to go. So two cars stuck at the banking. One is definitely Keane Donaldson 97. The other one, looking at cars that were around him, it will be one of those occasions where it's pretty much, you see on the time screen, you go spot the car that goes tumbling down the timing screen. Ben O'Hare has lost a few spots, but it's not Ben O'Hare at the hairpin, I don't think. Right, Jordan Pimley's the other one in car 50. I wasn't sure if it exactly, but I didn't want to take a guess. So Jordan Pimley's involved. I think also Ben O'Hare's hit strife, because he is going down the timing order as well. So I think there's been a bit of a three-car collision between these incident between them. And because of that, Donaldson and Pimley have come to blows and are, I guess, looks are locked together at the banking. And that's for Ben O'Hare, where he's disappeared to. It's not 100% clear, but that's a shame if so. In fact, we say Ben O'Hare's disappeared. Is that him parked there on the? Is that him in the pack? I think it must be a. So forgive me. I think it was a transponder issue, because I thought I saw Ben O'Hare's car on the pack, and it is in there. So. I think these two are locked together and not quite sure how to unlock themselves, but either there's damage to one which is denying the other from getting going again, but it looks like Keane Donaldson and Jordan Pimley are almost welded together a little bit, which is probably not what they were anticipating when they woke up this morning. So what this actually does now, it actually gives, I guess the one person that didn't want to see a safety car is Jack Brewer, because he had a lead of 6 seconds at one point before the safety car, but now it means that Oliver Allwood and Zach Oates and Sebastian Fischer and everyone else can start to get involved here, but they must know now, with these few minutes to go, they cannot get involved with each other too much. They have to try and stay as best as they can with Jack Brewer on the restart. Maybe even try and get him in the first few corners and put him in the pack, because I suspect that Jack might not be... the one thing he'll be looking to do, obviously, is trying to get away as quick as possible from the restart, as they have managed to dislodge the two cars that were down at the banking. So Jordan Pimley just trying to manoeuvre his car out of the way and get it going again, although he can they both get going again? I think they can under their own steam. They're just a little bit locked together, but no, they have done. They're both, either they're sort of trying to get themselves together and just checking the car can actually run, or they're kind of being very British about it and going, you going? No, after you. No, I insist, after you. So they're kind of wondering what to do, really. Though that said, I don't know if it's just the angle of the car, but Kean Donaldson's car looks like it's crabbing a little bit, so if that's just suspension damage, or maybe just the angle of where it's on the exit of the banking. It might be the latter, because of course it's not called the banking for nothing down at the second corner. So Jack Brewer leads them. It is Brian Trott in second place, followed by forgive me, sorry. Jack Brewer in the lead, Oliver Allwood in second place, Zach Oates is third. They are actually going to put looks like Kean Donaldson's car onto a low load. No, that's Jordan Pimley's car, forgive me, onto a low loader. So the safety car will go back around again. We might possibly only get really a bit of a one-lap shootout here between between them. Lap times have been 1 minute 49, 1 minute 50. So depending on how quickly they can get this car back around and how quickly they can pull these cars back off the circuit, we'll have to determine whether or not that we do get a very quick restart, or, dare I say it, we even get a result declared and a red flag thrown, because hopefully they won't take too long and be able to cover that. But of course the process has to be done properly in order to make sure there's no damage. There's Ben O'Hare, by the way. Forgive me for those watching for Ben O'Hare. I thought he'd actually disappeared, but looks like it was a problem with his transponder that saw him go down the timing screen at the same time as both Jordan Pimley and Kean Donaldson, which made me presume at the time that he was involved in the incident. But he's okay, he's there, he's in car number 95, just behind the yellow machine of Adam Craig. There he is, weaving from side to side, so all good for Ben O'Hare. It was last year's Rookie of the Year, actually. Now Kean Donaldson's car in the background to the left of shot, you can see, has stopped on circuit at Church, so that's right up against the barriers. So I imagine, I like to think it might be okay there for the time being. There it is, you can see. Driver, I think, either just clambering out or still sat in the car by the instruction. Yeah, the Kean's getting out now, so number 97 is done for the second race. Hopefully he'll be good to get that car ready for race number 3. Meanwhile, looking at the time that's left, still got about 3 minutes to go, I think, if I just refresh my timing screen. And we have 2 minutes 23. So if we're going to get going again, I suspect if we don't get going by this time, it's probably going to be either a safety car finish, or they might just throw a red flag and declare it. But either way, they're speeding up a little bit, so maybe we might get a restart this time, depending on how they're recovering the car of Jordan Pimley. So let's see if we do get a restart this time, if we are able to do so, or if it's going to be another lap behind the safety car. So Jack Brewer then might be in line to pick up his 5th win of the year from 8 races, which is quite a record. And if he does do that with the fastest lap of the race, he'll pull 101 points from this race, which is quite impressive. Now they are bringing them round again. It's 1 minute 33, so I suspect they won't get them to do a race restart, so it might well be that they finish them under the safety car, which is a shame, but we're looking for possibly a decent finish towards the end. But it will mean, by the looks of it, that Jack Brewer is going to pick up his 5th race victory from 8 races here this season so far. I'm sure he would have been looking forward to a decent grandstand finish. And it does mean also that not only is Oliver Allwood back on the podium in 2nd place, but it does also mean we're going to get a first podium in the MX5 Championship for Zach Oates. So given the fact we've only got 58 seconds left to go, I think this race is definitely going to finish behind the safety car. So I guess we can provisionally say congratulations to Zach Oates for his first podium, and also, of course, as well to Oliver Allwood for 2nd place, and Jack Brewer, who essentially looks like he is on course to win his 5th race out of 8, albeit behind the RunYourFleet.com Jaguar XF Sport Brake safety car. So the timer is about 30 seconds away from hitting 0. Rest of the order, Sebastian Fisher is in 4th position, Oliver Graham 5th, Brian Trott 6th, Steve Foden 7th, the Great Rex is at 8th and 9th, it's Jason ahead of Callum, and it's Matt Pollard in 10th, Paul Bateman 11th from Owen Mills in 12th position, Adam Craig is 13th, There's Luke Pullen 14th, Fraser Fenwick 15th, Tim Dorey is in 16th position, Oak Richardson 17th, Kevin Dengate, after he had a spin, was tagged in the early stages of race 1 yesterday. He's managed to climb back up the order when he started in 18th place. Tom Mallet 19th, and Christopher Ginn rounds out the top 20 in car 20. And it's Richard Wotton, Nick Ledoyne, Bryn Griffiths, Bo Parry, Richard Bartlett, Graham Rumsey, Brad Jones, and I think Ben O'Hare will pop in there somewhere as well because of his faulty transponder. And Courtney Milnes, who had the spin earlier on, which saw a brief yellow flag up at Rocket, unfortunately had to pit in the early stages due to some kind of an issue which has forced her out of race number 2. So the timer has now hit 0, so I'm pretty confident that we will get a checkered flag this time by, and the Jaguar will lead the cars across the line to confirm the finishing positions. So there's the pack, and at least AB Motorsport can be happy to have 2 cars on the podium again. Ollie Allwood, of course, will be happy with the win, so with the second place. Right, safety car lights are out, which means I imagine that the safety car, there should be no passing until they get to a line. So regardless of what happens here, I'm pretty confident that Jack Brewer will just lead them across the line and secure the win, because unless they've, I don't think they've added, they won't have added any time onto this one. It'll simply just be a runs the flag, and I think even though Jack Brewer, either he doesn't realise that we're down to 0, or he's expecting to just lead them across in a flying finish. But they'll head down towards turn 1, no overtaking at all, because it will still be yellow flags, but into what should be the final corner then for Jack Brewer, who will turn it onto the pit straight. The checkered flag is ready, and it will be a 5th win from 8 races in 2021 in the MX5 Championship for Jack Brewer, who wins under the yellow flag conditions. 2nd place for Ollie Allwood, and a 1st MX5 podium for Zach Oates. Congratulations after a fighting drive from him for 4th on the grid. It's Sebastian Fisher in 4th place, 5th place for Oliver Graham, 6th for Brian Trott, 7th for Steve Foden, 8th and 9th for the Great Rexes, Jason ahead of Callum, and then Matt Pollard, who rounds out the top 10. So great job by everyone involved there, and it's going to be quite an amazing time for them in the pit there, I'm sure, for all involved. As the recovery vehicle is heading back on the circuit, I think he's going back out to go and pick up Kean Donaldson's car. So yet to confirm it then, Jack Brewer takes his provisionally takes his 5th win from 8 races here at Anglesey. Allwood 2nd, Oates 3rd, Fisher and Graham round out the top 5. It's then Brian Trott in 6th, it's then Steve Foden 7th, Jason Greatrex 8th, Callum Greatrex 9th, and Matt Pollard rounds out the top 10. Paul Bateman 11th, Owen Mills 12th, Adam Craig 13th. Luke Pullen 14th, Fraser Fenwick in 15th place, Tim Dorr finishes 16th ahead of Oak Richardson. Then it's Kevin Dengate, Thomas Mallet and Christopher Ginn rounds out the top 20, and then behind them it's going to be Richard Wotton 21st, 22nd is Nick Ledoyne, 23rd is Bryn Griffiths, 20... so it's right, the Ben O'Hare's popped back into the order because he looks like he's showing us 14th, so he was a bit further down, but despite the timing tower on the left-hand side, Ben O'Hare's popped back in, so he's down to 14th place now. So it's Pullen 15th, Fenwick 16th, Dorr 17th, then Richardson, Dengate and Mallet in the top 20, Ginn 21st, then it's Richard Wotton 22nd, then Nick Ledoyne, Bryn Griffiths, Bo Parry, Richard Bartlett, Graham Rumsey and Brad Jones, and we lost sadly Kean Donaldson and Jordan Pinley off the contact up at the banking. And then Courtney Milnes, who unfortunately had a spin earlier on and then had to go back to the pits and was sadly out of the race due to issues on that end. So unfortunate stuff for them, but the cars then will head their way back towards Parc Fermé, and the next race will be coming up shortly, which will be our 2nd combined race for the Avon Tyres National and Northern and Super Classic Formula 4 Championships, who are on the grid for their 2nd combined race. For the 2nd time and the last time here this weekend, the 3rd Formula 4 race will be national cars only. But into Parc Fermé brings the number 93 car with Jack Brewer at the wheel. I'm sure he'll have quite a relieved smile on his face after that one. I'm sure he'll want to be a bit more an easier time than that. Ollie Allwood clambers out of car 63. And Jack Brewer just undoes the belts.
Bleep machine.
Apologies for any language you might have heard in the background there on camera. They are quite emotive, some of these drivers when they get out of the car. Zach Oates, you can see climbing out behind as well. So there's Oliver Allwood, who clambers out and goes to his AB Motorsport team. as Jack, with helmet off,
Ollie.
and climbs back out. Last gone for Jack. And I'm sure we'll have a chat and see how Jack Brewer is. That says it all, doesn't it? Happy with the victory once more. Let's go down to Jamie, who'll be able to capture some of that emotion in the park from him with race winner Jack Brewer.
Not wander too far because I'll need you in a minute for the TV.
Yeah,
is that
sure.
all right?
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yeah, he'll need a mask as well. Cool. Thank you. So, race 2 for the BRSCC Mazda MX-5s, a shortened race due to the incident over at the banking. Firstly, obviously the drivers are all fine. 2 out of 2, Jack Brewer. That was you were off and gone, weren't you?
Yeah, they gave me a bit of a helping hand on the first lap. I don't really know what happened behind me, but massive congratulations to Zach Oates on his first podium. He did brilliantly. It was a bit of an anticlimax finishing behind the safety car. I don't think anyone really likes to finish like that, but it's nice to see both the drivers okay, and we go on to the next one.
Can you repeat, Croft?
I'll try. I think there's a bit of weather coming in though, so could be anyone's game, but it was a good race, that. Nice relax for me.
Excellent, well done mate there. Right, second place was Ollie Allwood. Ollie, it was basically, you were trying to fend off the entire field, weren't you? You were busy out there, weren't you?
Yeah, luckily I got a bit of experience with that. Yeah, really good start from 10th up to 2nd quite early on, and then we didn't have the pace and the car's still not got quite the right balance. So yeah, just had to sort of drive the white lines and do my best really. I was glad they brought the safety car out actually. I'm not sure I'd have lasted another 3 laps.
It's a physical circuit, isn't it? I mean, we saw yesterday all the drivers were suffering with with the heat and the degradation that we've got here. What's it like in these cars? Because the slipstream's key, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately the tyres, we've changed specification of tyre for the championship this round, and it's just taking a little bit of getting used to, is the honest answer. So the tyres are overheating and all the drivers as a result are struggling with that. So whoever manages to tame that is going to come out on top. So far we've not done it.
Excellent stuff, well done. Roll on race 3. Yeah. Third place was Zach Oates. Where's Zach? Great result for you, and your first podium as well. You've got to be really chuffed with that.
Yeah, it was a great race, and came into it with not high hopes, but here we are on the podium and I'm chuffed. Very promised, very happy.
Fantastic.